Good day and welcome to the first in a series of user guides to assist you with using Concur. Whether you're a new user or whether you are a current user who's just looking for a refresher, hopefully these guides will provide you with assistance and answer any questions that you might have. So the first thing we are going to cover is logging in and navigating Concur. Now Concur is a web-based piece of software, and as such we can access Concur from anywhere as long as we have an internet connection and a mobile or a laptop. So to access Concur, simply go to the website www.concursolutions.com as listed above and enter your username and password. If you do not have a username and password, please contact myself using the email address provided at the start of this presentation. So once we have logged in, you will see this homepage, which is filled with a lot of information, including things like alerts and company notes, which include the Malvern travel insurance policy, car insurance policy, UK overseas travel policy, and the Concur training toolkit. It also includes information like the contact details for our travel company, and it also provides information on any trips that you have booked and any expenses which are outstanding and claims which have not been submitted. If you are an approver, you will also find a link here for any approvals which have not been completed yet. To navigate Concur, we use the tabs at the top, which going from left to right include requests, travel, expenses, and approvals if you are an approver. Any other tabs you will not have access to, as these are for administration purposes only. To sign out of Concur, simply go to the profile and click the sign out button. This concludes the first part of these Concur user guides. We will now be covering updating your profile settings. It is important that you update your profile settings and keep them up to date, as without this you will be unable to use the travel functionality in Concur. To access your profile settings, go to the profile button in the top right hand corner and click Profile Settings. This will take you through to the Profile Options page. If this is your first time logging in, you will need to change your password. To do this, click the Change Password link, enter the old password that was provided to you, and then enter the new password you would like to use and re-enter it to confirm. You can also provide a password hint in case you forget the password. However, if you do forget the password and would like it reset, simply contact myself or Richard Beetlestone and we will be happy to reset it for you. Once your password is updated, go back to the profile page and then access personal information so we can update any information we have. As you can see, certain fields are greyed out and cannot be edited by yourself. Only an administrator can change these fields, and if you do require any of these fields updated, please contact myself or Richard Beetlestone. Fields that can be updated include your work address, your home address, any contact information you have, emergency contact information, and there is also a section here where you can include frequent traveller programs and advantage programs. To start using Concur for travel purposes, you will need to add your passport into the system. To do this, click Add a Passport and then fill in the information requested here. You can also add any visas you may have into the system. Once again, click Add a Visa and you will be able to add the visa information here. To use Concur to book travel, you will need to include your credit card information. You can set this up here simply by clicking the Add a Credit Card button and filling in the information requested. Once this is complete, you will now be able to use Concur functionality at its fullest. There are other settings you can change, including system settings. This will allow you to change the date format, currency format, and any other fields that you may wish to amend. You can also set up your company car or personal car if you reclaim mileage on any of these. To do this, go to company car, click New, enter your vehicle registration number, the engine size, the fuel type, the make and model, the CO2 emission rate, and the registration date. Once you've done this, simply click Save and it will save your company car in the background. If you have a personal car, click the personal car link and do the same. This concludes updating your profile information. We will now look at booking, hotel, flights, or car hire through Concur. We can do this either using the trip search box on the front page or by going to the Travel tab. Under the Travel tab, you will find the trip library, which will provide you information and an itinerary on any trips that you have booked in a certain date range. And you can also find any trips which are currently awaiting your approval. For this request, we will look at booking a flight from Birmingham to Amsterdam. We can either choose a round trip, a one-way trip, or a multi-city trip. However, when it comes to multi-city trips, we would advise going to CTM directly, as they can get better rates than we can. So we will do this as a return trip, flying from Birmingham. You can search for airports either by the city name, or if you know it, you can use the airport code. We will choose a departure date of the 13th of March and a return date of the 17th of March. Once you are happy with the criteria you have selected, click the search button, and Concur will now search for all flights which match your criteria. Once the progress bar at the top is full, all available flights will be displayed. As you can see, at the top we also have this matrix, which displays the airline carrier and also the number of stops on the flight options. Shopping by schedule is usually the most convenient option, as it allows you to choose exactly which flights you want and then prices them up afterwards. However, we would advise using the Shop by Fares function, as this will allow the user to get a better idea of the variety of costs available. As you can see, the cheapest option we have is Flybe at £95.98, but this ranges all the way up to British Airways for £682.03. So it is always good to look at the Shop by Fare option to make sure you are getting the best deal possible. So we can filter our results using these sliders on the left. So we will choose an early morning departure, and we will choose a late night return. As you can see from the matrix, the filters has restricted the number of flights that we can now see, and we can now choose a fare based on our selections here. So we will choose the 7:55 out of Birmingham Airport, returning at 9:20 from Amsterdam. Clicking the View Fares allows us to see the fares which are available. As you can see here, it gives us multiple options depending on the carrier. We also have an option here for free checked bags. Normally this will display a number advising you how many checked bags you have with this fare. However, for some airlines, they will not provide this information. So to acquire this information, we have a link available which we can click to visit their website and find out. So as you can see, the Just Fly fare has no baggage included, the Get More has 1 item of hold luggage, and the All In has 2 items of hold luggage. So we will choose the Get More fare. As you can see, the pricing at the bottom has now changed to reflect this change in fare. Once you are happy with the fare you have chosen, click the price, and we will be given additional flight options as needed. You can include information like frequent flyer number if you have it. You can also select insurance options and luggage options if you haven't already. However, these are all optional and you do not have to fill these in. Once you have confirmed, it will take you through to the review and purchase flight. As you can see here, we have the flight details. We have the traveller information, and we can also once again select frequent flyer programs if we have a frequent flyer program. It gives you a chance to review the price of the flight, and you can also choose the method of payment. Once you've selected your method of payment and filled in the information that it's requested, scroll down to the bottom, and as you will see here, it asks you to acknowledge that once you go to the next page, you will have purchased a flight. If you are happy with this, click the I understand and I wish to proceed box, and click the purchase flight and continue. Once you have clicked this box, it will take you through to another screen where you will be asked to confirm additional details on yourself and any possible extra information on your trip in question. And once it is happy, it will submit a trip to your approver for them to approve. We will now create an expense claim in Concur. To do this, simply go to the Expense tab at the top, and this will take you through to the Manage Expenses area. From here, we can see any claims which have not been submitted, that are awaiting approval, or that have been returned to us. We can also see any expense items which are awaiting assignment to an expense claim. To see past expense claims, simply go to the Claim Library and change the view to All Claims. We can also see any credit card transactions that we have from the past by going to the View Transactions tab and changing the time period displayed as required. To create a new claim, go back to the Manage Expenses tab and click the Create New Claim button. We advise creating one claim per month, as Malvern has an agreement with Concur for a certain number of claims each month. If Malvern exceeds this number, we will be charged for each additional claim. So this claim will be for February 2017. Once you are happy with the claim name, click the Next button, and you will now have an expense claim created. We will now cover importing credit card expenses into an expense claim. To do this, we can import them from either the Available Expenses area, simply by clicking them and clicking move and then choosing the claim we wish to move them to. Or you can import the expenses into the claim by clicking the Import Expenses button and then choosing the expense you want and moving it to the current claim. Be sure to make sure that you only add credit card expenses and not e-receipts and itineraries for credit cards expenses, as if you add an e-receipt or an itinerary to a claim, it will try to process this as cash and you risk being incorrectly reimbursed. To identify a credit card expense, it will have the credit card symbol here. For more information, simply hover over that icon and the information will be displayed here. Any other icon will be either an e-receipt or an itinerary, information of which can be found in the Concur Creating Expense Claims PDF guide, as seen here. We will now cover adding a cash item to an expense claim. To do this, click the New Expense button in the top left-hand corner. This will give us a list of all available expense types we can use. We will use hotel for this example. This will bring up a list of fields that need to be completed. Any field with a red bar on the left-hand side is a required field and must be filled in. For this example, we will choose a transaction date of the 3rd, a hotel check-in date of the 1st, and a checkout date of the 2nd. We will also use the city of purchase as Worcester, and the amount will be £200. We are also required to provide a comment to explain why this expense was incurred. In this case, we will say it was for an exhibition. Once we have filled in all the required fields, click the Save button, and as you can see, the line item has now been created with the credit card expenses from earlier. Now we will look at dealing with exceptions. The exceptions in an expense claim can be found at the top of the claim. As you can see here, there are two types of exception. There is a yellow warning message and a red error message. A yellow warning is simply advisory and is to get you to double check and make sure that you are happy with the information you have input. A red error message means that there is something wrong with one of the items in your claim and will stop the claim from being submitted until it has been resolved. To find the error, we can either look in the expense items here to see which item has the red error message by it, or we can simply click on the error message itself and it will take us to the expense item in question. As you can see from the comment, there's a missing field and it is in the comment field. So we will add a comment for this breakfast and save. And as you can see, the error message has now disappeared. We will now cover attaching a receipt to an expense claim. It's important that all expense items have receipts attached to them, as this will allow us to smoothly and quickly approve your expense claim. To see which expense items do not have a receipt attached to them, simply look at the icon here. If you hover over it and it says there is a receipt image required, then you need to attach a receipt. If the icon is blue and has a tick, then you have already attached a receipt. To attach a receipt to an expense item, click the line in question and go to the Attach Receipt button in the bottom right-hand corner. From here, you can browse your computer for an image or a PDF file to upload. Click Attach. And now, if we go to Receipt Image, we should now have a PDF attached to it. We can also view the receipt by hovering over the receipt icon here. Once we have attached receipts to all items on the claim and all error messages have been dealt with, we can submit the claim using the button in the top right-hand corner of the claim. It will ask you to confirm if you would like to submit the claim. And once the claim has been successfully submitted, it will tell you here that the claim has gone to your approver and what the value of the claim is. As you can see, the claim has now changed from not submitted to submitted. We will now look at returning or deleting an expense claim. If you have made a mistake with an expense claim, or you feel that you need to add more information to the expense claim, you can recall the claim by clicking on it and clicking the recall button in the top right-hand corner. Once the recall has happened, you will receive a confirmation, and as you can see, you can now edit the expense line items as needed. If we go back to the Manage Expenses tab, you will see that the expense claim is now listed as returned. If a manager is not happy with an expense claim, they can return it to you with a comment and ask you to amend something for the claim to be approved. If you feel that an expense claim is incorrect and it's easier to delete the claim, simply go into the claim and click the Delete Claim button here. All cash expenses will be moved out of the claim and deleted, and all credit card transactions will be moved back into your available expenses box. If you have made a mistake where you have used your company credit card for a personal expense, you can rectify this by clicking the personal expense item here. As you can see, this credit card expense is now being deducted from our cash expense. If there are no cash expenses for a personal expense item to be deducted from, usually we will request a bank transfer made by yourselves back to Malvern. We will now have a quick look at where to go to approve claims and trips in Concur. Obviously, if you are not an approver, you will not have access to this tab. To find your outstanding approvals, go to the Approvals tab, and as you can see, you will have a tab for trips and for expenses. If you have any issues with an expense claim or a trip, you can query it directly with the employee, or if you feel the need to, you can return the claim or the trip back to them and ask them to amend it as needed. If you are happy with the trip or expense claim in question, you will be able to click the Approve button in the top right-hand corner of the claim.